Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Jake and the channel you're watching, 787 Dude, is all about planes and aviation. In today's video, I'll be discussing flight number versus call sign and what's the difference between them. Yeah, so let's get into the video. So today we are, talking about something that actually confuses, people that travel, regularly, a couple times a year abroad, is the difference between a flight number and a call sign. They, sound similar, sometimes look very similar, but in the world of aviation, they have completely, different meanings and different purposes, which actually keeps our skies safe, So yeah, that would pretty much be what we're talking about. And by the end of this video, hopefully, you'll, have a greater understanding, or an understanding, if you never had one, of the difference between a call sign and a flight number. So, yeah. So, in the basics of it is very simple. You've got your flight number, right? It's on your boarding pass. It says on your ticket. It'll also be on the departure boards, the arrival boards at the other airport. It'll also be the, the thing that allows your family to track you online on Flight Radar. Or for example, British Airways flight 2817 to Funchal, that will be what your family, will go up on Flight Radar, track you, But in the cockpit, it might look a little bit different. So, for example, things sound different. You've got different key terminologies that I can get into a whole other video of what they actually mean. But for today, instead of, BA not 1123. That's the thing I use in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Instead of BA 2817, you might hear Speedbird 2817 instead, and that will be, which is entirely different. And so, that's why we use two different systems, and that's why we just can't use one, because obviously you can't use something that some families tracking, and then some air traffic control is repeating back, and that is a part of the safety and trying to keep our skies safe. So the simplest answer, to the confusion and why people are confused about it is, they live in different worlds, and your flight number is designed for logistics and convenience. It's all about scheduling, ticket, passenger information and baggage handling, right? So that's why, everyone on the ground knows which flight it is. But up in the air, a call sign, however, is designed for safety and separation. It means that when pilots hear Speedbird 2817, they know, okay, that's us, we need to start listening. That's not that, saying that pilots don't listen to other, because they do, And the airfield and the skies have to work as one, as a team. If, someone is going to ignore other people just because it doesn't, affect them, primarily, but it might affect them secondary. So you still have to listen, you still have to pay attention to what other people are saying, because it's always, that mindset of being ready. So in the operational world of air traffic control, it's about clear communication between pilots and controllers to prevent mid-air collisions, and in my opinion, one of the stupidest types of collisions. You think how big the sky is, and isn't it crazy how you can have two aircraft collide in the sky, And that is because, and that's what, call signs, that's the part of call sign that keeps us safe, which is great. Let's break down a flight number first. So every airline has a unique alphanumerical code to specify route and schedule. And in some continents, especially Europe, you'll find most of the time that they use the same sort of code. So every airline will have all the flight numbers of all their flights. On the way there, it'll be one number, and on the way back, it'll either be the number before the last number or the number after. That's what I find in Europe. In America and other continents, it can be very different. But if you say loads of European flights, especially from the UK as well, you'll get, BA 2817 to Funchal. I'm pretty sure that's going to Funchal. It might be coming home. I'm pretty sure it's going there. And then on the way home, it'll be 2818. BA2818. So it's like that, and as it happens for every flight number. That's what I find. I know in America it can be different. Like for example, Delta 450 isn't just any Delta flight. It's to I can't even say the word. It's to that one scheduled flight, and sometimes say Atlanta to Seattle on that particular day. It's that day, that one flight. The flight after or the flight tomorrow, that maybe even at the same time might have a different flight number, but for that flight today, right now, that's the flight number. Yeah, that's just how it works. And these numbers are managed by the International Air Transport Association, or ITA. That's why you might hear ITA codes. There are 2 character codes for airline, like AA for American Airlines, DL for Delta, BA, which I think is probably one of the big one for British Airways, and then followed by up to 4 digits. So rarely see 1, 2. It's normally about 3 to 4. You might sometimes see 2 digits, but not many airlines actually use the single digits. They normally just use from 2 digits onwards, but most common 3 and 4 digits. That's what you'll find flight numbers. And these flight numbers, they aren't just any random numbers. They do normally follow often patterns. They normally often follow patterns. The only where it wouldn't, say the same flight going there is if, say, there's 2 flights from the same airport, and they're at the same time. Because obviously then you've got one flight that could be an hour ahead of that flight, and then, one plane here, and then an hour in front, there's another plane, which obviously isn't going to help when your family's going to try and track one plane and go, but there's 2 planes with the same flight number. So what are you going to do? Are you going to track the first one, or are you going to track the one after? So that's where there'll probably be difference in, some of the European flights, especially from the UK. But that's probably be the only time where there's actually that difference in pattern from the UK. But anyway, like I said, these numbers often follow patterns. So even numbers usually indicate eastbound or northbound flights, which I think is quite cool as well, which not many know. Even numbers was the one we just did, and then odd numbers often signify westbound or southbound, or southbound or westbound in geography from here. Lower numbers, they often long standing routes, and high numbers often indicate charter flights or newer routes, which again I think is a pretty cool fact. You can tell if it's quite a new route or quite an old route by that. 4-digit numbers with 3 or 4 might be coerced, operated by other airlines, which again, you see how there's big patterns, and all this is planned out to just make it, it's strange how you've got all of this, and for most people, they just see a number and maybe 2 digits and a number next on their ticket, and they go, oh, that's my flight number, and might WhatsApp it or Snapchat it or message whatever, Facebook, whatever people do nowadays to their family. They hop on Flight Radar and track it. But there's so many different patterns and reasons why this is like this and this is like that. And Chloe wants to say hi, so I'm going to let her say hi.
Hi people, I know you always get subscribers from me because I'm in the video, but yeah, he barely gets any. Just bye.
Okay, right, amazing, thank you Chloe. So these numbers also allow ground crews to load and the correct bags, because you don't want that, do you? You don't want to be going on that 2-week holiday, a nice vacation holiday to the Maldives, and then Uncle Joe's bag, he was going to Manchester for his, I don't know, God knows to see his brother or something, you've got his bag, you don't really want that, do you? So it also helps ground crews put on the correct bags for the correct aircraft to the correct flight going to the correct destination. Also catering to prepare the right meals and passengers to find their gate. What good is it if you have an airport, lots of gates, departure board and arrival board, if you don't have any way for passengers to get to one place to another. It's all about smooth ground operations and the flow of passengers, which is, Chloe, leave that alone, which is the main part of why we have difference between call signs and flight numbers. So anyway, now let's change over to call signs, which personally I think they're a bit better. Call signs which ATC actually hears and uses, just like the pilots use it as well. Although again, you could also say they use flight numbers, because they do. When they go, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Thank you for flying," and they might go, "Welcome aboard British Airways flight 2817 to Funchal, Madeira." So, yeah, while a flight number tells passengers where you're going, call sign tells ATC who you are precisely. It tells you that that guy is that guy, and that guy there is, well, I don't even know, Oh, okay, oh, that guy, he knows. I could go, okay, yeah, who's Speedbird 1123? And be like, oh, that's him over there. And who's Speedbird 0928? Oh, that's him over there. And who's Shamrock 0228? Ah, the one just passed us earlier. And that is how easy and efficient and safe it is to use flight numbers. So air traffic control will use sometimes called, well, actually most of the time, actually all the time, air traffic control uses something called an ICAO designator. So ICAO, I'm not even going to pronounce it. I think ICAO stands for International Civil Aviation Organization. So unlike ITA codes, 2-character codes, ICAO uses 3-letter codes for airlines like ALL for American Airlines, DAL for Delta Airlines, or BAW for British Airways, which is a big one, I think. Again, I'm not just saying this because it's BA. It's often followed by the flight number, so American 1123, say he had, yeah. But also, there can be exceptions to that. So I know, for example, off by heart, Speedbird obviously is British Airways. They got that name after the Concorde and stuff. After Speedy, because the Concorde was called Speedy most of the time. If you didn't know that, then you've also got Shamrock, which I just used a second ago, which is Aer Lingus, and I know another one, but I can't remember it. So yeah, that can be used like that, and that's also to just pinnacle the, like, what do you call it, like the, well, I mean, you know what I mean. I can't, yeah, but it's meant to be like a smoothie, but it's more turning into fruit juice, but it's fine. Anyway, yeah, so American 1123 becomes American Alpha Alpha Lima 123. So here's where it gets really interesting, I think. For critical and safety, many airlines don't just hear their ICA codes plus the flight number, they use unique, like I was just talking about, designator, often a distinct word or phrase. This is what you might hear on live ATC feeds. So, for example, AAL, American, BAW, Speedbird, AFR, Air France, EIN, Shamrock, which is Aer Lingus. Ever wonder how British Airways pilots say Speedbird instead of British Airways? Or why Aer Lingus is Shamrock? So I am right, you see. 787 dude does know stuff. Also, BA Concorde, and then the Aer Lingus plane with Shamrock logo. Like I said, the Concorde did use Speedy and also use Speedbird. That's also why they've got it. And these unique phrases and names are carefully chosen for two main reasons. Clarity, they are distinctive and easy to understand. And even in a busy radio traffic or with different accents, they're still easy to understand. You say Speedbird, it's not going to be like a Speedbird, or weird word, you know, that was really bad. But you know, you get the point. You can say it however, and you still know what they're talking about. And because it's unique to the airline as well, you know, say you're on a, I don't know, an African aircraft frequency, and you know you've only got 2 Speedbirds. But, you know, there's loads of other airlines that might have a B or an A or, you know, stuff like in it, because they are popular letters, especially A, you know. Most airlines have, you know, airlines, airways, you know, stuff like that. So it's very distinctive, which also makes it safe as well. And it's brand identity, to be honest. Like, it really reinforces the airline's identity, but primarily, you know, adds clarity and stuff. You know who you're talking to and who's talking back to you. So this is where call signs, you know, truly shines as a safety tool, you know, which you might not even thought of it this way, but, you know, they are pretty much used mostly for safety, and, you know, because it gives that clear communication and means that, you know, when you say something, you know what you're going to be talking about, right? So, you know, imagine this scenario: 2 aircraft, United 345 and United 354. They are very similar, and I think most pilots would get mixed up. And they're flying in the same sector of airspace. So you have different sectors, so the whole airspace is separated into sectors. You know, so you will have, and it's also, again, so air traffic control, you know where you are. Because you think, you know, well, don't know exactly where you are, but you say, oh, he's in that sector, he's in that sector. Okay, well, I know he's in there, he's there. They're same airline, similar flight numbers, but they're in different sectors. But in this case, same sector, stuff like that. You know, they're flying in the same area of airspace. And this, you know, will definitely happen in areas where it's like a hub. You know, you've got a hub for United. I'm not actually too sure on United hub. But, you know, say BA, Delta for Atlanta, BA Heathrow, same with Virgin, you know, London Heathrow, EasyJet, Gatwick, you know, you've got loads. The aircraft hub, you know, you think most of the aircraft that airline has will go there, you know. You know, if you were to go, how many planes on the ground there? Oh, okay, you can look and you see, I'm sure that's the hub. I know American Airlines and other airlines and stuff will have loads and loads of hubs, and you're like, just have one hub. Just have one hub. Like BA, Heathrow, Cayman, Schiphol, you know, stuff like that. You know, just have one hub. I mean, stop being greedy. America's big, but you don't need that many hubs. Like, yeah, so over the radio, 345 and 354 can sound incredibly similar, especially with background static, quick transmissions, or if a controller is busy. A misinterpreted instruction could lead to a catastrophic outcome. You know, you think one plane, you've just told that guy, instead of going that way, you're going to now go this way. And then instead of you going that way, you're going to come this way. They're going to collide or get very, very close to each other. And this is what we call call sign confusion. I know, right, alliteration there. CC, call sign confusion. So this, you know, to migrate this, so to get rid of this, ATC might instruct an aircraft to use alphanumerical call sign. So United 345 become United 345 Alpha Bravo, or some other added letters make it audibly distinctive from United 345. If that makes sense, I hope that does. Oh. You know, so in addition of letters, often the aircraft tail number can also make each transmission, you know, be able to identify it's the same word. I can't, you know, I am reading off a script, okay? I wrote it myself. Took me quite a long time to write, but I am reading off it. And I wrote, you know, Pacific. Oh, there you go. Sounds like Cathay Pacific. I can say that. You know, a certain aircraft, you know, Pacific is now going to be certain aircraft. you know, it will be able to identify a certain aircraft. It's a simple yet incredibly effective layer of safety. The pilot will read back the full new call sign, ensuring both pilots and the controller are on the same page. Or on the same wing, as they may say. No one, tough crowd, okay. It's just still on. Oh yeah, it is. I didn't see a green light. This proactively prevents errors that can lead to, you know, literally have a life or death consequences. Cool. And it is a testament to the layers of safety built in to air traffic control and aviation safety, which again is very good. You know, aviation is very safe. You may have a few planes crashing now and then, you know, a few wheels falling off, BA, or what other ones have we had recently? Or, yeah, an engine not working on takeoff, India, which was really sad, actually, by the way. As 787, like ruined the whole streak of no 787 crashes. I mean, the A350 had a crash. Obviously, it wasn't the pilot's fault, had a crash before. Anyway, but I won't get onto that now. We would not end this video. Yeah, so layers of safety in, you know, air traffic control. So to recap, a flight number primarily used for passengers, logistics, and scheduling. It is a public face, so e.g. BA 2817. Call signs for communication with air traffic control, ensuring safety, clear identification, and the operational airspace. It can be a unique word, or unique alphanumerical extension, e.g. American Alpha Alpha Lima 123 or Speedbird 456. So next time you're tracking a flight or listen to an ATC live feed, you know that the identifier that you're hearing over the radio isn't just a number, isn't just letters, it's you know, an amazing design safety tool keeping our skies the safest form of travel, which is the safest form of travel. If you didn't know that, you do now. I hope this helped clear up the confusion and any misconceptions. If you've learned something new, please hit that like button, subscribe for more aviation insights, and it's free anyway. Like I say every single time, it's free. And you go, no way, it's not free. And they're like, yeah, it is free. And you go, no way. And you're like, oh well, if it's free, I might as well subscribe. And yes, you should subscribe. And let me know in the comments if there's any other, you know, aviation mysteries. I don't know why I put mysteries. Oh, come on. Any other aviation questions, mysteries, or videos, or misconceptions you want me to solve. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.